What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a wide receiver versus DB one-on-ones quiz. So we're going to be going over three specific situations that are commonly seen in one-on-ones periods where you guys are going up against DBs. It's live, and it's just you versus him, mano-a-mano. How can you guys get separation? So we're going to walk you through three different scenarios. If you guys aren't familiar with our quiz format, what we're going to do is I'm going to explain the situation that he's in, explain the route that the receiver's running, and then you guys are going to pause the video, think about what you would do, how you would structure your route, then you're going to play the video and I'm going to break it down and explain it. Okay, so I hope this video helps you guys out. If you guys have any feedback for other videos that you guys would like to see, we always appreciate it. It's always great to hear from you guys. So if you have any suggestions, leave those in the comment section below. We definitely appreciate it. So now we got an outside shade DB in the red zone, I mind you, 5 yards off, outside shade, and you have to run a corner route. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and pause the video. And now I'm going to break this thing down, okay? So now, outside shade guy, and you got to run an outside breaking route like a corner. But the corner is at about 10 yards, right? So you guys are on the 10-yard line. So it's not like you could just attack his leverage and maybe get him to back up and break in front of him. You have to get up to the depth of the route, right? So if you said you want to go at the inside shoulder, try to get him to flip his hips and run, and then maybe throw by, not the best move in this case for this specific coverage, okay? So that would be incorrect because, again, you have to run a corner route and it's man coverage. So when it's man coverage, what kind of a ball can you expect from the quarterback? A ball with some air, right? Because he's trying to drop it over this guy who's going to probably be playing on your back hip. So what we really want to focus on doing right now is restacking. So if you said you want to attack the DB's leverage off the line, give him a move, work to restack, and then break it over the top of him, you would be 100% correct on this, right? You do not want to square him up and attack his leverage and hope he backpedals because the DB's not going to backpedal in this situation, right? He's not going to backpedal and just give up an easy slant route. So he's going to sit there. So we have to know that I got to square him up, give him a move, then work to restack. So I'm going to play this thing full speed. That's exactly what this receiver does. Squares him up, works to restack, gives him that rocker step at the top, and then is able to break away on this corner, and that ball's coming over the top like how we said, right? So maybe he doesn't necessarily attack him as much, but he squares him up, right? He comes off and gives a little hesitation move to hold that DB to his leverage. We want to keep him honest, right? So now, when we go up, it's very important that after I give him that crossover move, my number one mindset is to get up fast and to restack and be tight down this angle. He kind of takes this thing extremely wide, which in a real game situation, that could screw up spacing. You probably want to attack him. You want to go straight at him in this situation, try to freeze him to his leverage and be tight hip to hip with him so you could get over the top. That DB probably isn't in as better of a position that he's in if you go hip to hip and if you give him a better move and you attack off the line, right? We don't want to just hesitate and then just go and try to run around him. We want to go straight at him, try to threaten him to where his leverage is, then be tight to the restack so I can get over the top and work this move like a rocker step. That rocker step will be 10 times better if he was over here because that may not screw up the spacing of another play or might not run you into another defender. So we have to make sure we understand that, fellas, in this specific situation. So outside shade, you got to run this 10-yard corner route. Make sure we square him up, attack that leverage, then work back to the inside. I'm going to play this thing full speed one more time. Hey, great move at the top of the route. Great kind of timing on the route. Just got to make sure we keep spacing, especially in one-on-ones, fellas. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about this situation, outside shade press, and you have to run a 10-yard out route versus outside shade press. But before we get into this, fellas, I want to talk to you guys about a great opportunity we are offering on our website on this off season. We're going to be coming out to 8 different cities across the United States for 2-day-long quarterback, wide receiver, and DB training camp. So if you guys want some more information on that, we have all the information on our site. Check out that very first link in the description below. We're coming out to Houston, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to that, you want to come out and get some work in with myself and my staff of coaches, check out that very first link below. Again, if you guys have not heard too, fellas, these camps are going to be limited spots. We're not going to have 100, 200, 300 kids out there. We feel we could get those kind of numbers, but we feel that the quality of work will be less because we won't have the time to actually coach you guys. We have you for 4 hours each day. It's 2 days long. We're going to have DBs out there for wide receivers to work on one-on-ones, but each day consists of 3 hours of skill work. And that's not enough time if we have 400 guys out there because then we're not going to be able to tell you what you're doing wrong and tell you how to correct it. So we're limiting it to only 10 guys, 10 to 12 guys per position group. So if you want to come out and get some work in with us, spots are limited like we said. Check out that very first link in the description below. You guys will get a ton of value out of this and a ton of coaching for 2 whole days. So if you're in those 8 cities, check us out. Very first link in the description below. below. Let's get back to this video. So now we got this situation here. Outside shade press, and you have to run a 10-yard out. Think about, also add this to kind of the question that you want to think about. Why would a DB ever be playing this coverage? Okay, so outside shade press, 10-yard out. You guys can go ahead and pause the video. And now let's break this thing down. So why would he play outside shade? He's outside shade because A, he's got help to the inside. Now, I know it's one-on-ones, but you might be working that situation as a DB. You might be working that situation as a defense as a whole because you're going to be running that a lot that week or whatever it may be, but they want to see if you could play outside shade. And also if a DB has his split cut down or he's out of the slot. Because what do slot receivers like to run a lot of? Out routes, corner routes, stuff towards the sideline. If you cut an outside receiver's split down, what does that usually mean? He's going to be running a 10-yard out or a corner route, right? So that's why they're playing outside shade. So as a wide receiver, I need to know that he is not going to give up this outside shade. If I try to give him a move, I could give him the hardest move to the inside with a head fake, shoulder fake, and do whatever I can. He will still not give up the outside release, simply because his responsibility is to force me inside to his help. So let's watch what this receiver does. He does a great job of taking the inside release here. Now, he doesn't do a good job of selling vertical to get that DB's hips to flip. So if you said, hey, I want to take the inside release, I want to self-fade, get that DB to commit his hips, and then work a throw-by technique or work to restack maybe, you would have been correct. If you said that you want to attack his leverage, try to get him to backpedal, then take the outside release, you'd be wrong because we don't want to let him get hands and force me all the way to that sideline because the quarterback has no space to work me over. Now, he does the right thing, but what he's doing is he's got his shoulders and his hips turned the entire time on this break, letting this DB know that a break is coming soon. Nobody runs a fade like this. You know what I'm saying? So this DB is going to slow his tempo down because he's expecting a break because what's he supposed to be watching? He's supposed to be watching my hips and my pad level. So if I'm not selling vertical with my pad level, that DB's not going to break. And then that DB could, and again, maybe a grab of the jersey here, right? But we still didn't get enough separation because we're not selling the fade with my pad level. He chose the right release. He did the right thing, but you got to make sure that we are 100% committed to that fade to get that DB to flip his hips and bail out of there. So if you guys said take what he gives you, take the inside release, you'd have been 100% correct. You could work to restack if you feel like off the line we got him to freeze his feet, or if he's playing this thing well, we want to throw by and swap by at the shoulder and throw by and swap by at the hip. Let's watch the thing again, full speed, great job taking it. Just make sure we sell fade, fellas, and we have that violent change of direction so that DB cannot make a play. Okay, so now, last clip that we're going to be talking about here, DB, we're on the 5-yard line, and I'm saying that you have to run a slant route, and this DB is head-up coverage. So he is head-up. So think about what this DB is not allowed to do in this specific situation and how you would structure your route. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video, and now we're going to break this thing down. So DB's off coverage like this, right? We probably, again, if we're a first read slant out of the slot, I cannot waste too much time right here, right? So what a lot of people will say is you want to close the distance, take a diamond release, get him to bite his hips on the fade, and then slip under. But here's the thing. Takes too long. Let's watch what the quarterback's footwork is. Just catch, throw, right? Look at the quarterback's feet. He's catching it, setting his feet, and throwing. Right? So it's quick game. We can assess that. If this quarterback was taking a 3-step drop, I would say, yes, you could do that type of a release. I should have probably made it clear at the beginning of this that it's a quick game slant, but assume that on the goal line, it's a quick game slant like this, unless it's maybe an RPO, right? So what would you do in this case? You would square him up and you would give him a quick move because we know that if we attack his leverage on the goal line, what's he not going to do? Backpedal. He's taught to sit there because if he just backpedals, he could just give up a quick out or a quick sit route and that quarterback could just give it to him. So he's not going to keep his leverage. He's going to sit right there and try to get hands. True catch technique, right? So as a receiver, I know that when I attack his leverage, we'll play this full speed. I can't get too close. I give him that move, and then I'm able to make that catch over the middle. So we cannot get too close. That is the key. So if you said square him up, give him a double up, you would be right. If you said attack his leverage, work to the diamond, sell fade, you'd be wrong because it's a quick game slant situation. Kind of a trick question because I didn't really mention that. But that's what you guys should be thinking about. You guys should be thinking about, okay, what kind of slant is it? If right away I said you're running a slant, and you have this kind of coverage, and your first instinct was, okay, was it a first read slant or a third read slant, or is it an RPO? That's how I want you guys to think. That's how you guys get a higher football IQ because you have to know play concepts. You have to know situations. Football is about situations, not just running routes. You have to know situations to be able to run good routes and structure what you're doing. There's a million different moves you can use, but how efficient can you be based on the play concept and what you know about just football in general and timing, right? So square them up. up, give him that 1-2 because we know he's not going to backpedal, and he's head up leverage about 2 to 3 yards off. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. This route's from Kyle Phillips too, who is an insane route runner. I highly recommend that you guys look him up. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Always appreciate the feedback, and it's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you're local to one of these 8 cities that we mentioned, Houston, Phoenix, Newark, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Los Angeles, we would love to have you out to one of our camps. We'd really appreciate the support, and we know we're 100% confident that you guys will get better. You guys will actually be coached at one of these camps. This is not one of those camps where it's like, hey, give me your money and we're going to put you through 5 drills and then we're going to call it a day. It's not what we're doing. We're actually there to coach you guys. We're actually there to help you get better and get you better at situational football, okay? So if you guys want some more information on that, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.